All right, all right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with
my proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
All right, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions proudly brings to you the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyrun Silva from Taurus Comics, and across the way is nobody. Because today I am hostless. It's just myself. Danny unfortunately had a little bit of emergency. He said he might try to stop by later on. And if he can, that's great. If not, I'm going to hold it down for you, Danny. But hopefully everything works out for you and everything goes all right. But we are live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and a host of other programs. If you're listening or watching live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. And I do want to start off by saying if you are watching live on our live stream and you're noticing my shirt, it's a Lucha Libre Mafia shirt. So I do want to give a quick shout out to El Flaco Loco, the leader of the Lucha Libre Mafia and the king of the safe style wrestling. Thank you for sending out my shirt. If some of you don't know, back in the day when Kyrun was a little bit younger, I used to do some professional wrestling. Very short time period, like 2 years, I think. I got into one real match. I was for the championship, got my butt kicked, but it was a fun time, and I've had a lot of relationships that built from that, and one of those is with El Flaco Loco. And I just want to say thank you again to El Flaco for sending out my shirt. This is a very nice feeling shirt, very comfy. But if you want to get your own, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/El Flaco Loco. I will put that in the show notes. But any shirt that you buy from him right now, a portion of those proceeds all will be donated to the National Brain Tumor Society. El Flaco Loco is a brain tumor fighter and survivor, and he does everything he can to promote the National Brain Tumor Society and everything they do for their efforts. So thank you again, El Flaco Loco. Great shirt. Appreciate it. Other thing I want to bring up is I know Danny is not here, but I do want to promote him. So tomorrow is the grand opening of Danny's shop, I guess you could say, Fourth Wall Studios. And I'm going to show you a little something, man. What's up? See, there you go. It is a great cause to support Danny. But I'm going to show something because since you're not here on the show, I do want to make sure that everybody is familiar with what's happening with you tomorrow. So let's show what's happening.
Okay, for the 5 people in North Carolina who aren't going to Dreamville or the UNC Duke game, come by the studio, Fourth Wall Productions. We're having our grand opening and get some comics.
All right, so you heard the man. If you are in North Carolina tomorrow, April 3rd, and go to 1412 North Church Street in Burlington, North Carolina, zip code 27217. You don't want to go see the UNC Duke game. That's been played out. You don't want to go to Dreamville. You don't want to do that. You want to go down to the boy shop, get you some books, support him. I think he's going to have drinks and food or whatnot. He's going to have a bunch of stuff there for people to check out. I think there's some art stuff for you to check out. But go support my man. He's busting his butt with all this stuff. He's doing what he can to be a successful entrepreneur. So go support the guy. The shop looks amazing. And I can't wait to make my way from the West Coast to the East Coast to actually go see it. I know it's going to be killer. But yeah, I was going to do that with Danny Lai, but he had some emergency stuff. So let's bring on our guest. Our guest is a writer of the Powerland series, a novella. He's on Amazon right now. So if you want to check out his books, please do. But the man is an amazing writer and creator. His name is Othello Gooden Jr. So let's bring him on. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Again, apologize for Danny not being here, but we're gonna have some fun here. So, for anybody that's not familiar with you and your books, go ahead and describe to us or to our audience what it is that you do.
Yes, I consider myself more like a writer. Even though I've done music, I've been writing longer than I've been writing music. So, um, probably has been writing since maybe the age of 5 or 6. It's one of those times when you're in school and you take an interest in something, and I found writing as my best pastime. And I'm 37 now.
Nice. Okay. I know what is the style of writing that you do? Like, is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy?
Yep.
Is it
Actually, when I first started, I was heavily into fantasy. Like my biggest influences was J.R.R. Tolkien and Doctor Who.
okay? Okay. Who's your favorite
So,
doctor?
um, Tom Baker,
Great choice. Great choice.
and because he was the first cosplay I ever did in 6th grade.
Oh wow, you were
Yeah,
early
and we
then.
actually had the same. I had the same scarf and hat that he had, and I had a similar overcoat.
Okay. All right. All right. So tell us about the books that you have right now. I know you said you were telling me before the show that you have a couple of books that are now available on Amazon. Go ahead and describe to what they are so people can, I guess, know more about it.
Yeah, so the first one that I started was Raylorian Dawn. How it happens in a related universe, and I had created this like dystopian society. Um, Basically, it was in like an alternate reality where mankind was a lot more advanced, and they weren't limited by government funding. The private institutions led the way to the future. Unlike the NASA had a institution, and this is a real institution, by the way. It's called NASA Institute for Advanced Concepts, and they shut down in 2009 because of it was the kind of stuff that they did you will find in Star Trek, but it was only like in proposals and thesis statements, and the college was like, with today's technology, it was very expensive. Well, this was like probably about, was it 15 years ago, kind of like. And you really couldn't, like, they even had like a proposal to how to build a busted ramjet, which is found in first Star Trek spaceship, but you couldn't do it cost effectively. It would cost like several $trillion to make one busted ramjet. So they had stuff like, I think one of them was the elevator, the lunar elevator, to go straight from the, and they had other ones too. So I thought of like, what if Nyack reopened, but it was under a new name, and this was the Raylorian Project, started by General William Rayler Mellis Sr. And during that time, when I wrote the story, we were having a problem with the oil crisis in the Gulf. And in the Raylorian timeline, Earth never recovered from that. It messed up the ecosystem. And General Rayler Mellis said, like, well, I know how to fix this. You're just going to destroy the economy because you don't know what to do. And he saw a lot of politics involved. And they told him, well, if you don't like what we're doing, get off this rock. You got technology, just go somewhere else. They didn't anticipate on him bringing half of Earth's population to the lunar plane.
Okay. So it sounds like your books are more sci-fi centric in what they are. Maybe with a little bit of fantasy intertwined in them in ways, or am I off on
Yeah,
that?
it's more fantasy because time travel doesn't exist, and there are some things not feasible, even though they're technically feasible, but not because of the legal and political overhead.
All right. We have a comment here saying Danny loves stories that are rooted in real life events. We all do. So I think if someone was going to say what is your books comparable to get a feel of it, what would you just tell them? Like,
I draw a lot of inspiration from the like from the books that I center, like Raylorian Dawn, Collisions, and Shadows of Revival. Raylorian Dawn more or less like the main character isn't like Jason Bourne, but the kind of like the cat and mouse game of Jason Bourne and um it kind of like, and then Collisions is more or less like Jason Bourne because, well, more like Batman to a certain degree because it's a vigilante story. And Shadows of Revival is where I go heavily into like time travel. Will be more of like Doctor Who. But the whole series itself will be kind of like, because it happens on a space station, is more comparable to like Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine.
Wow, that's a very broad connection there. Okay. So, what are your plans with this series? I mean, 'cause I know you were saying that all your books are sort of connected in ways.
Yeah.
Do you plan on expanding them into more books, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, my fourth book is The Stardust Girl, which happens in a related universe. And there is a Dr. Manhattan, Franklin Richards level character reality warper that created Powerland. And there was a situation that happened that she got separated from her family, and while she was technically it was a lifetime of the prison that she was in, but so when she escaped, her and her co-conspirators, they found this area in the Asterith star system, which is where Theseus and basically where the Gemini system, and she just opened up a portal, like it was kind of like a near death situation, and all of them just lived inside of her pocket dimension, peacefully for the rest of eternity. But Stardust Girl happens from the point of view of her niece. And you see what happened to her because you don't see what happened. You find out time travel was involved again, but in that pocket dimension. And the way I have the rules that I created it for on the Traveler's Frontier, each universe had its own set of rules, but still just like a one thing is that almost kind of like how Toriyama established time travel in the Dragon Ball. You may go back into the past, but you go back to where you came from. Everything is still the way how you left it.
Hmm. So there's no butterfly effect. It just you can't really change anything.
No. But in Rayloria's memory, it's different because the way how I had like almost a little bit like how the Flash, when he did Flashpoint, and messed up everything. But the thing is that the Powerland is a little bit more different because there's a situation that happened, and she basically not Stardust Girl, but her aunt that created Powerland. She did some time traveling by accident, and she wound up going into the universe that basically her niece lives into, and that kind of like the whole story of itself. The Stardust Girl is of an exiled princess that she was Zeni is the daughter of two supervillains that started the First World War of the planet. But because of the actions of her alter ego from years of trauma and being, I would say, ignored by her father, got herself exiled. And she sees the world differently. And the story of itself is like a story of like life, growth, and to a certain degree, revenge, because not just on her father, but her mom too, because her mom was, even though she was being respectful of her husband, still she was complacent in the way how her daughter was being treated.
Wow. I mean, definitely family drama is a great way to get people interested here. Oh, wait, we got a question here. So we We have somebody who wants to know, since all your books seem like they have a lot of sci-fi influences in them,
Mhm.
what is your top 5 sci-fi heroes? Good question.
Yeah. I wouldn't say heroes per se. Um, I'll say the top of my list. Um, I want to say the Flash, but Wally West because he's a brother.
Okay.
And then there's Cable. It was Jean Grey for a long time, but because time travel. Um, Green Lantern, Silver Surfer isn't really a villain to me because he rebels against Galactus. And a recent story, he's looked upon more as a hero than a villain in the first place. I mean, I never saw
Definitely.
him as a villain in the first place anyway. And then bottom 5, uh, it's a tough one. I never went that far. I would say if you want to go to anime, I would. I don't know if that counts or not, but if I would
Sure,
say,
anything. You can even
yeah,
do movies or TVs. That's fine.
yeah, I would say Yellow Flash because Speedster.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. No, because you mentioned anime, your books are very heavily influenced with anime.
Mhm.
What brought you into that realm of manga series and made you want to do that instead of just traditional comic book artwork?
Well, let's see. My first experience with anime, uh, contrary to what everybody believes, if you do enough research, you'll find that the Transformers is anime. It was a collaboration between Hasbro and a Japanese animation studio. And that was my first anime that I watched. But that was probably when I was like maybe grade school, elementary, and other sci-fi series that I mean, not sci- they were kind of like sci-fi, but it was anime sci-fi in the genre. Transformers was the first one, and then they we'll see Samurai Pizza Cats in America. In Japanese called Kyoto Nintendo, which means Ninja Cat Legends Bite Me. It's Edo, the Edo era. There's some words that you just can't translate to English properly, and that's one of those words. And then when I got into high school or not junior high, yeah, I got into like when Toonami was big, still is, but it was bigger back then. I had like um, Dragon Ball Z, started with Z before, and then they went back to Dragon Ball. Um, Naruto, Trigun. Um, then they had other ones that didn't really. Well, Gundam Wing being one of them, which is one of my all-time favorite.
That is a
Um,
great series.
um, yeah, I mean, best anime comedy series Trigun. Um, Best serious anime Gundam Wing, and Troy Barton be one of my favorite ones because of Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms is a massively creatively designed robot, and so um, I've always written stories that were either video game or anime influenced. So I said, well, I'll just regard all my stories being anime anyway. And some people said, well, you can't create anime because you're not Japanese. And I was like, get out of here with that racist crap. Yes, I can. And I didn't really think that I could um, write one because of that, because I've always had a problem with, negative stigma. And then I ran into a creator, his name is Brandon Chin, God Game, and a lot of other ones. And I watched him, and he did like a Instagram, and he said like, well, people told him the same thing as they said, like, you're not Japanese, you can't create anime. And he's like, so what? These are the animes and mangas that I'm creating. I said, it's like, the message to me is, it's like, so what? My
Yeah, I
haters
mean,
gonna hate.
I think if you want to create that manga style, it doesn't matter where you come from, just do it.
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of American-born creators that are making a style that's like anime influenced, or and if you want to do it, I mean, just make a good book. Who cares
Hmm.
Who cares where you come from? Just make a good book. We
Hmm.
have another question here that says, and I guess it's a personal question for you. Do you consider Avatar the last Airbender in anime?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, even though they say it's influence, when you follow the style, it's closer to an anime that very close to like what the Japanese anime and the way how they have a style that looks like it. Even Riot Games Arcane is anime. They even mentioned that they were making an anime, and people were saying, "Well, where's their anime?" And I was like, "Arcane is their anime." Really?
Arcane was actually a really good series. If nobody's familiar with Arcane, what we're talking about is the Netflix series that was based off of the League of Legends video game.
Mhm.
Very, very anime and manga influence in their start work style, which is perfect because of the high action that it comes with. So if you haven't
Mhm.
checked it out, please do. They have like
I actually, I
Arcane.
actually did a review on a series on my Quantum Filmations channel on YouTube, and I plan on doing another one when season 2 comes out. It was really good in my opinion. Um, and for me as a creator, looking at that, if I ever get to that level of bankroll where I'll be able to make an anime like that, I may hit up Fortiche to produce my own series.
That'd be awesome. Is that something that you plan on? I mean, a lot of us as creators want to someday have either a live action
Mhm.
series, movie. Is that something that you're more influenced for? Is going for a animated series?
I'm both leaning towards animation, but they say that it costs a lot more than live action. But live action, most of the budget goes to the actors and things like that,
Correct.
um, and I like it's all right now. It's just a script and doing that kind of like near Hollywood quality. I have to find like the good writer and things like that, and it doesn't come cheap. With my current budget, I can't. So I'm just, waiting for that, the proverbial ship to come in
Right.
and everything will fall into place.
So, since we are talking about your budgets, how outside of doing podcasts, things like that, what are your ways of getting more people to look at your stuff so they can buy it and then line your pockets a little bit better?
Yeah, I do like some posts on Instagram, and then I do a lot of word of mouth,
Hmm.
and
Do you
then
do do you do like a lot of traveling for events or anything like that?
no, no, not now. Because I live in Cincinnati, we don't really have that many, events, and I don't have a car yet. Um, well, I do drive, but I would probably go like to like maybe like when they have in Columbus because I'm in Cincinnati and we have an expo that's in Cincinnati that I go to every year. One year I didn't go, but that was because of the pandemic. Um, that is in September. If I save up enough money, I'm going to, and if they have any booths before I have that money, the buy a booth, and sell my books there,
Oh,
and that's what my ultimate goal is to see how good that will go. I'm thinking it is because it's not like you go to somewhere and you don't sell any books. There's always going to be somebody's like, oh, this is new. Let me check it out.
all right. Well, I guess he decided to join us. So Danny J. Quick, my co-host, my boy, decided to join the podcast. So welcome, man.
Hey man, it's been a busy morning. I'm sorry I'm late, but I was listening as I was driving. So I didn't hear if you asked the question about Avatar.
We did, and he said it. He considers it a anime,
Okay. Okay. I know there's a big debate about that. Um
which I never
nice.
understood why there's a debate about that. It just what matters about it?
Hey, I
It's a
understand.
damn
I
good
mean,
series. The
it's
real
a great
debate should
series.
be
Yeah, it is.
the real
Even
debate
Korra.
should be is Aang or Korra the better Avatar? That's the
I
real.
mean, that's
Depends
because
on the experience.
it's core for me. Um, but I'm a
I would say the
you know
experience but there's some things that Korra has done that Aang hasn't, and so it like even like in between the flashes, even though Barry Allen is the fastest Flash, Wally West is the best Flash because of the creative things that he did. Even in CW, there's stuff that Wally West has done that Barry Allen has never.
There you go. Okay,
yeah. I
I
mean,
can see that.
I agree with you. I'm a Cora fan. I think, especially when it comes to fighting, even though Cora got beat up a couple of times, she faced much harder villains, and that's also why I think LeBron is the GOAT. He just had better competition, and overcame
And
those.
his version of Space Jam was a little bit funnier than Michael Jordan.
I wouldn't go that far, but
All right. So I'm not a LeBron fan, but I will give you a stat that blew my mind that I found the other day, that LeBron James has not averaged less than 25 points in a season outside of his rookie year. Every year outside of his rookie year, he's averaged at least 25 points. And that to me is an amazing stat. Still doesn't make him the GOAT, but still an amazing stat.
That's wild to me, man. They for him to, especially at the age he is now, to be doing it, and I'm like, he's in contention for the scoring title this year. So
I mean, he won't get it, and the Lakers are not going to even make the play-in, but whatever.
Hey, you got to take them the season somehow, because they looking kind of hard. I watched the game last night, and I was so frustrated. They just refused to win close games. But we're here, we're here to talk about Mr. Othello. So, I heard you talking about DS9 earlier. I heard you were talking about, drawing some inspiration from Battlestar Galactica and DS9. Do you watch Star Trek? And if so, what's your favorite Trek show?
Because DS9 has a black leader, DS9, but I would say Voyager is interesting too. But DS9, because it's kind of like it's connective tissue between like almost all the Star Treks that happen in that area. So like you have like Voyager, which I heard was like, I think it overlaps with DS9, and then Next Generation. Picard was good too. I haven't seen the recent series out yet.
What about Discovery?
But I heard it was. I've seen clips of it, and it seems pretty interesting.
All right, we gotta wait. Hold on, Brad. I love you, and you're right. Avatar is a great show, but One Punch Man is not the greatest anime of all time. That is Full Metal Alchemist. So,
I forgot about Full Metal Alchemist, but that one was good too. One Punch Man.
One Punch Man is great. One Punch Man is great. It's a hilarious show.
I have never watched it.
Well, the music is good. I mean, it's golden, and I like the main and then the memes from it. So,
if you're just looking for something lighthearted and just entertaining, it's not really deep in any way, but it's just fun.
Yeah. When I watched One Punch Man, I haven't really experienced that level of hysteria and laughter since I watched a show like Trigun. It's comparable to that level of comedy. Like Vash is just as Saitama is just as the situation is just as funny as when Vash is, and sometimes I'm laughing too much, I miss plot points, so I had to keep on rewinding it, and I have not done that to an anime show since Trigun. So those two are kind of like they're neck and neck as far as like best comedy anime in my book.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
You do. I mean, it'll make you more well balanced in your life if you watch it. You don't need all the drama. You just need some fun here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's what I got Teen Titans Go for, though.
Still can't beat the first Teen Titans.
You're wrong.
They each have their benefits. Teen Titans was more for your action. Teen Titans Goes for your fun, and so just
I mean, but I'm like with Teen Titans, like. The way how they wrote Slade Wilson reminded me of how they did him in CW. Like he was like one of those villains that made me want to Will Smith smack him.
Fair enough.
Slade was dope in the original, but that show will put a teenager into deep depression. Like I had my because I'm a Teen Titans Go fan because like my kids, I prefer them to watch that than the original. But I had them watch it because we had the debate with Brian Lambert, which one was better, and they agreed. They're just like, yo, this show is depressing. Like the show is just depressing. It's like past that third season, I was like, bro, like why they have to do your girl like that? But
What they did Terror like that? Did you talking about?
Terror, yeah. Why they have to do Terror like that?
I mean, and that was kind of sad with her because it's kind of like, and then at the end, it's like you're just gonna do that to Beast Boy's love. I'm like, well, okay, I can understand she was manipulated, but still, I mean, let him have his cake and ice cream.
It was hurtful, and then the way they did Starfire with the truck, the truck episode, bro. I was like, bro, this is hurtful. Like I would tell my kids to push.
But that's another one that I also found out regarding that one. That I would say would be in Avatar's position as like, even though DC doesn't really do anime, like Teen Titans had that style.
It had an anime theme song. It had a whole, the show.
Yeah,
the co-creator of the show was brought in because of his anime experience. So
yeah, we had to mention that was one of the shows that I watched on Toonami besides Trigun, and that was like, I would say, brush up to me watching the DC animated back in Static Shock. And so I draw influences from, those on the animated side. And the video game side, I would say, because of time travel, Chrono Trigger, best JRPG of all time. I'm playing another Eden, which is the spiritual successor to it. So,
All right, Dan, let me ask you, did you get any quick takes?
No, I was trying, but I was on the road. I just figured that top five sci-fi question will have to do it for the day.
Hey, no, I just want to make sure. All right. Well, since we are almost out of time, Othello, is there anything that you want to at least let our listeners know about maybe upcoming works, things that you might, didn't get to at this point?
Yeah, I have my manga series. We're working on chapter 3 right now. You can see chapter 1 and 2 on the Black Sands Publishing app and North Caesar. And volume 1, after we finish chapter 3, will be available on Webtoons, so you'll be able to read chapter 1, 2, and 3. I'm thinking maybe because my artist is working on chapter 3 right now. So when she is done, probably by the end of this month, we'll probably have it up on Webtoons by the end of April, beginning of May.
Let me ask you, Othello, how are those platforms working out for you, North Caesar and the Black Sands app?
I get a lot of feedback on the Black Sands. North Caesar, I don't think I've promoted. Not people many know about, downloading it. Even I've told people about it. A lot of people want to see it on Webtoons before because the other ones are kind of like private databases, so you can't really search for it online. But Webtoons, you can. So that's why I want to have like at least 3 chapters for Webtoons, and then I'm going to be promoting it to publishing houses. And Comixology as well. But I had to have chapter 3 done first.
Okay.
All right. And if anybody wanted to maybe check you out on social media, where can I get you at? Like, what's your Instagram, Twitter, things like that?
And Instagram, Powerland Series, and Traveler's Frontier.
Cool.
Twitter, JG Traveler. My YouTube channel is 2K Return, that's for gamers. And then Quantum Formations for everything not game related. That's more or less centered on the Traveler's Frontier brand. I do have music on Spotify, Reverb Nation, JG Traveler on both instances. But those are the ones that I have up because I write a lot of music that are centric on the Traveler's Frontier stories, things like that. Like my albums I'm working on right now, Goodman Legacy, it tells a story of the first family of the Traveler's Frontier, but they're from Ray Liotta's memory. And so there's a lot of overlap in that album with the characters in Powerland because the Goodman family is found in Powerland. Zini is a part of that family.
All right. Well, Danny, where can we find your work?
If you want to find me, the best place to go is the website, fourthwallpros.com. And on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. What about you, Kyrun?
You can find my work at tauruscomics.com. I am on Twitter and Instagram at tauruscomics. And if you haven't already, please go check out the Kickstarter for StarCore. We have 20 days left in the campaign, a little bit more than $900, a little bit less than I think needed to fund. So I'm pretty confident we're going to get there with 20 days left, but you never know. But definitely go to TC Creates. Okay, all right. tccreates.com. Make a pledge, become a backer, get you a book. And if this is your first time ever checking out the Four Tales podcast, you can go to fourtalespodcast.com. That's the number 4, TALES podcast.com, and go back and check out any of our other episodes. But next week we have, hopefully, and I say this, with heavy hearts, hopefully we have Marcus Roberts on the show. He's dealt with some family tragedy, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get him on, but hopefully we do. But until then, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
Music provided by my brother, Quicks Made It. Find him online in YouTube, Instagram, and SoundCloud.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.